Parliament's Judiciary Committee approves 2 nominees for Supreme Court. Reduced state expenditure results in budget surplus, and government designates 5 zones for mariculture development.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to News in English. I'm Shama Shoaib, your host for the evening. The Parliament's Judiciary Committee has approved the nominations of Ustaz Muhammad Salim and Ustaz Abdullah Hamid to the Supreme Court, clearing the path for their formal appointment to the nation's highest judicial authority. The 2 nominations were submitted by President Dr. Mohamed Muizzu and referred to the committee for evaluation. Ustaz Muhammad Salim currently serves as a judge at the High Court, while Ustaz Abdullah Hamid is a former High Court judge. At a committee meeting, Huludu MP Abdul Sattar Muhammad proposed the approval of both nominees. The motion was passed unanimously by all members present. The initial review began on Monday but was deferred to allow more time for consideration. With the committee's endorsement now secured, the nominations will proceed to a full parliamentary vote. According to the Judges Act, Supreme Court appointments require consultation with the Judicial Service Commission (JSC), followed by parliamentary approval. The Supreme Court bench comprises the Chief Justice and 6 other judges. The Maldives and China have signed a formal agreement for the construction of the Vilimale China-Maldives Friendship Hospital, a 112-bed facility to be funded through a Chinese government grant. The letter of exchange was signed today at a ceremony held at Dharmawanta Hospital by Minister of Construction, Housing and Infrastructure Dr. Abdullah Muttalib and Chinese Ambassador to the Maldives Kong Jianho, representing their respective governments. According to Minister Dr. Muttalib, the hospital project will move forward swiftly once final approval is granted. He stated that the contractor selection process will be completed within this year, with construction scheduled to begin in 2026. He also expressed confidence in the timely completion of the project, citing ongoing cooperation with China. Ambassador Kong described the hospital as one of the largest to be developed in the Maldives, pledging that it would be equipped with cutting-edge medical facilities. Drawing on China's extensive healthcare experience, he highlighted that 96% of medical equipment in China is domestically produced and that the country is home to the world's largest hospital. This latest project follows other major developments supported by China in the Maldives, including the China-Maldives Friendship Bridge connecting Male and Hulumale, another symbol of the close bilateral relationship. The government's efforts to reduce expenditure have resulted in a budget surplus of 1.2 billion rupiah.
The latest data from the Ministry of Finance and Planning, reflecting figures up to May 29, reveals a stronger fiscal position compared to the same period last year. Government revenue has also improved, reaching 16.5 billion rupiah by the end of May. That's up from 15.3 billion collected during the same time frame in the previous year. Most of this growth came from taxes, which brought in 12.9 billion rupiah, an increase from 12.3 billion last year. Meanwhile, non-tax revenue saw an even bigger jump, rising from 2.6 billion to 3.4 billion rupiah. Altogether, total income grew by 7.7% year-on-year, driven by a modest 4.7% rise in tax income and striking a 30.7% increase in non-tax revenue. On the expenditure side, the government has tightened its belt. Total spending dropped to 18.3 billion rupiah, down from 21.9 billion at the same point last year. That's a 16.3% reduction. Recurring expenses saw a slight dip, falling to 13.8 billion rupiah from last year's 14.1 billion. However, one area of concern is debt servicing. The cost of repaying loans more than doubled, rising sharply from 1 billion to 2.5 billion rupiah, a surge of over 150%. Despite that, the overall fiscal outlook has improved significantly. At this time last year, the budget was in deficit by 2.9 billion rupiah. This year, it's in surplus. Officials credit this turnaround to tighter fiscal controls. Key projects have been reassigned to state-owned companies under separate financial arrangements, helping keep costs in check. The government has also introduced bulk procurement of materials to further reduce spending and boost efficiency.
The Ministry of Fisheries and Ocean Resources has officially designated 5 strategic zones across the Maldives for the development of mariculture. Sustainability of the fisheries sector. In a statement released today, the ministry confirmed that these areas have been selected to attract investment and drive economic diversification. To incentivize participation, the government will offer special concessions to investors, including a complete waiver of rent for the first 3 years, an exemption from acquisition cost for mariculture projects within these designated zones. The 5 atolls marked for mariculture development are Halif Atoll, Ra Atoll, Kaf Atoll, Meme Atoll, Ta Atoll. These zones were chosen for their potential to support the sustainable cultivation of marine species, thereby contributing to the long-term resilience of the fisheries sector. In addition to promoting investment, the government has initiated training and human resource development programs in mariculture. The latest figures from the Maldives Monetary Authority (MMA) shows a significant boost in the country's export activity, with total exports rising by 12.2% compared to the same period last year.
From January to April this year, the Maldives exported goods worth $164.5 million or approximately 2.5 billion Maldivian rupiah. This marks an increase from the $146.6 million recorded during the same months in the previous year. Imports during this period stood at $184.6 million or 2.8 billion rupiah. Driving much of this export growth was a strong performance in domestic product exports, which saw a 36.6% year-on-year increase. The value of locally produced goods rose from $41 million last year to $56.1 million this year, equivalent to 865 million rupiah. At the heart of this growth was the fisheries sector. Fish and fish products, which continue to dominate the country's export profile, generated $52.5 million in revenue by the end of April, up from $37 million last year. That's a jump of 42.1%. Re-exports also experienced growth. Though more modest, re-exports reached $128.6 million this year compared to $123.5 million last year. That's a 4.1% increase.
It's madness in here today.
Of course, bro. It's the kickoff. It's the new Premier League season. I'll be ready. Get loud. This is new faces, latest drip, and fresh trims. It's time to believe. The greatest league in the world is back.
Brought to you by MediaNet.
Kafa, tiga pocket and the no contact phone lani. Kafa, passport at the family could get the GIO. Kafe, can it any for she get the GIO?
කොක්කො හාස්නුවේ කාෆෙදනි හජ්ජන් උම්රා ප්ලෙන් නගෑග කොංකමක කාෆ හාස්වාම්වි ඉතුරු මාළුමාත් එලයිඩ් මොබයිල් ලෙප් අදි myelite.mv
එලයිඩ් ආයිලාය මර්හබා
Welcome back. The governments of Maldives and Japan have signed an exchange of notes to provide a grant aid of 194 million Japanese yen, approximately USD 1.3 million, to support the continuation of Japanese government scholarships for the Maldivian students in the 2025 fiscal year. This grant is offered under Japan's Human Resource Development Scholarship JDS program. On Tuesday, Minister of State for Foreign Affairs Shirina Abdusamad and Japanese ambassador to the Maldives Ishigami Rumiko signed the exchange of notes at a ceremony held at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The ceremony was also attended by Minister of State for Higher Education, Labour and Skills Development Dr. Abdurrahim Hassan, along with senior officials from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ministry of Higher Education, Labour and Skills Development, Civil Service Commission, and the Embassy of Japan and the Japan International Cooperation Agency JICA. This year, the grant will support 6 fully funded scholarships for Maldivian students, continuing a project initiated by the Japanese government in August 2020 aimed at strengthening human resource development in the Maldives. Scholarship recipients will be able to pursue master's degree at leading universities across Japan. The scholarship program is designed to develop skilled and capable youth who can actively contribute to shaping and implementing social and economic development policies, playing a vital role in the nation's progress. The Japanese government provided similar support through this program last year as well. Some customers have reported an increase in their electricity bills for May compared to those of April, despite the implementation of a recently announced reduction in electricity tariffs. The State Electric Company Limited, Stelco, addressed these concerns in a statement issued via X, offering clarification on the matter. According to Stelco, while the revised tariff came into effect on May 1st, electricity bills for April had benefited from additional discounts, particularly those extended during the month of Ramadan. Consequently, certain customers may find their May bills higher than their April bills, notwithstanding the introduction of the reduced rate. The company emphasized that a more accurate assessment of the impact of the new tariff will be possible when comparing the current billing cycle to previous periods unaffected by temporary reductions or abbreviated billing durations. Stelco specifically recommended comparing May 2025 bills with those issued in December 2024 or January 2025 to discern the actual difference resulting from the tariff adjustment. Agricultural slots and plazas were inaugurated today as part of Urban Farming's second initiative to promote sustainable agriculture in Hulumale. The Urban Farming 2 Plaza was officially opened by Agriculture Minister Dr. Maria Maria during a special ceremony held last evening. This project forms a component of the Japanese grant-funded Community Urban Farming Initiative delivered in collaboration with UNDP and Urban Farming. It is embedded within the broader Sustainable Economic Empowerment for Development of MSMEs Seeds program. The key aim is to foster sustainable agriculture in Hulumale by equipping farmers with essential tools and training while also enabling them to market their produce effectively, ensuring a sustainable income. Open to all citizens of Maldives aged 18 and above, the second phase of the project has successfully trained 84 farmers who have now received their certification. To support the commercial aspect, 28 pop-up market stalls have been established near 28 allocated slots, allowing farmers to sell their crops directly to consumers. International air traffic to the Maldives rises by 6.4% in the first 4 months of 2025, according to the latest figures from the Maldives Monetary Authority MMA signaling continued strength in the country's tourism sector.
Between January and April, the Maldives welcomed 5,809 scheduled international flights, up from 5,378 over the same period last year. The increase in flight arrivals aligns with the surge in tourist arrivals, which crossed the 800,000 mark, up from 700,000 during the same months in 2024. While scheduled flights saw healthy growth, general aviation traffic, which includes non-scheduled and charter flights, recorded a slight dip. A total of 555 such flights were logged this year, down from 604 last year. The rise in arrivals has been matched by a modest expansion in tourism infrastructure. The country's total operational bed capacity now stands at 61,919, an increase of 0.8% compared to the previous year. In a related development, the Maldives Airports Company Limited, which oversees Welana International Airport, has reported strong financial performance. The company posted a profit of 1 billion rupiah last year, marking an 18% increase. That's a gain of around 192 million rupiah compared to the last year before.
That's all for today. Thank you for watching the news.